Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss something that I know everybody thinks about, but not everyone puts the math to. And that is the question, how much do I need? How much do you need to retire? How much do you really need to cover your expenses? The numbers may surprise you, but it is very, very simple math, and it relies on two assumptions. You understanding what your expenses are, or what that level of income is that you want and need, and the second is what kind of returns you can expect to achieve. So let's dive in a little bit. It's very simple. So let's assume you have your expenses and you have your rate of return. If you assume that you can make a 6% return and you have 50,000 of annual expenses that you're trying to cover, the math is simple. You divide 50,000 by 6%. And the number that you get is that over time, you have to build up a nest egg of $833,333. So the math makes sense there. Well, what happens if your expenses are higher? What happens if you have 100,000 of expenses, but you think you can earn a 7% return? So if you believe that you can achieve that, then over time, you need to invest $1,428,000 and some change, 571 actually to be exact. So you have to look at what your expenses are, what you're trying to achieve, how much annual income that you need, what you expect your returns can be, and then that will determine how much you need to have in investable funds. So for a lot of people, both of these numbers are very achievable. A lot of people in the US, there are 5% of the population has over $1 million net worth. But under $1 million, there's a lot of people who have that. While the average retirement for someone over 65 was $265,000, there are a lot of people who have well over $1 million in the United States. And you can certainly, with a reasonable plan, get to 800,000, $1 million to $1.4 million. And then depending on your rate of return, you can achieve these levels of income on an annual basis. One of the things I like to look at is, well, what happens if I wanted $500,000 a year? Because if you have $500,000 a year, you are basically covering your life expenses, depending on your lifestyle, but the majority of us can easily live off of $500,000 and have enough left over to continue investing in new deals each year. So what happens? A lot of our deals are generating over an 8% return. We have deals that are generating 5% return. We have deals that are generating, now that we've got some equity back on the deals, that are up to 40%. But on the original equity, 7 to 9% is a good number for commercial real estate investments. So if I was trying to achieve $500,000, and I believe on average I could earn 8% from my investments on a cash basis, then I should be able to, over time, I would have to invest $6,250,000. So that is a much more difficult number, as you can see. But there are a lot of people who have that kind of wealth, and you can do it with time, with patience, and you can get to that level from a passive cash flow standpoint. It's not easy. It still takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of discipline on an annual basis, and it takes finding good investments with trusted sponsors that you know, like, and trust, who are going to help you grow your passive cash flow and grow your net worth. And it also takes diligence on your part to come up with your own investment thesis and determine, what is it that I'm really trying to accomplish? Where do I need to be? Not the pie in the sky dreams so you don't get disappointed, but what do you actually need? And then anything over that becomes gravy. Or you can up your game. You can reach your 50,000 of annual expenses from passive cash flow, and then step that up into saying, well, okay, I'm going to try and get 75,000. I'm going to try and get 100,000. And then you keep growing that over time. Not achieving money for money's sake, but so that you can get to a place of freedom. And freedom starts with knowing what your annual expenses are and being able to cover those with passive cash flow. And then it's about improving your lifestyle and improving your ability to provide for yourself, your loved ones, and the causes that you care about. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how much do I need. I hope you take a look at it, try and figure out what your numbers are, and then come back, let us know what you think is doable, what options there are in the market that makes sense to you from an investment standpoint, so that you can get to this level of passive cash flow and investable income. Thanks so much.